For this section of AMAth trigo, we are dealing with addition formula. So addition formula we provided during O levels, but it will also be advisable that you can memorize a bit on the formula. So this in this section, when we deal with the formula, so do not have the tendency to do things like this. So there are some people who think of it like algebra expansion. So that is a very big misconception. So it is not like algebra expansion. So it will be expanded according to the formula in this way. So they condense the formula in such a way, so you might want to write it up. Okay, so for example, okay, this one comprises of sine A plus B. So sine A plus B will be sine cos sine. So I always remember by the function sine cos sine. So if it's sine A plus B, it start with sine. So sine cos sine. The angle is in order AB. So if it's a subtraction, okay, it will be sine cos sine, but then it's also it will be a subtraction. So basically, sine will follow the same sign, plus and plus. Okay, cosine is the one that doesn't follow. If you take a look, if this is a plus, it will be followed by a subtraction. So for cosine A plus B will be equal to cos minus sine. So that's how I remember it. So if it's cosine A minus B, it will be the opposite sign, cos plus sine. So, but during O level, it's condensed in such a way, so you got to get used to how it looks during O level. Okay, then for tangent, okay, the top follow the same sign, the bottom will be opposite. So it looks something like this. Tangent A plus B will be tangent A plus tangent B. The bottom will be opposite sign. So if it's tangent A minus B, it will be tangent A minus tangent B. Denominator will be a plus. So try to get used to the format. So initially, if you're not familiar, then you might want to look at the 6 formula individually. But when it is shown to you during O level, it will be shown like this. So you gotta get used to how the formula look like. Okay, so for the first example, you will see whether you can do the matching of the formula. So you look at it, sine, cos, sine. So that should fall under 37 plus 25. Okay, let me see. Yeah, all right. So the next one is a cos minus sine. So that's under cosine, following the opposite direction, opposite sign. So if this is a minus, then it will be a plus. So I will get a cosine 40 degree. Okay. Sine, cos, sine. So if follow the sine, it will be 120 minus 23. So it's about just to get you to match to see whether you can condense back the formula. So this one is a plus. So obviously and this is a minus, so it should be a 27 plus 13 degree. So the first one is just an introduction. How do you match back the formula? In this section, you will have quite a bit of special angles. And of course, you still have the triangle method. You still got the solving angles. So we will be using this formula for the triangle method, for the solving, for the proving. So everything else repeat from the basic trigo that you learn in trigo 1 to 4. So for example 2 will show how special angles are being used with the addition formula. So in this question, you're not supposed to use the calculator. You're supposed to find the value of sine 75 in a search format. So this is a hint that it should be related to a special angle. So if you still recall, special angles are 30 degree, 45 degree, and 60 degree. So for sine 75, we try to break it into the sum of two special angles. So 75, I can break it to 30 plus 45. So in such a case, you will see that this is your A. It looks like the A plus B formula. So it looks like the A plus B formula. So you follow the formula, sine, cos, sine. And how are you going to put it back into the search form? Okay, so you got to do individually in the search. So this part will be a half. This will be a 1 over root 2. Okay, this will be a root 3 over 2. So that's where all your special angles come in. So if you simplify, you realize that they got same denominator. So combine into a single fraction. So why does it still look different from the required format? Because you need to rationalize. Okay, we don't need to rationalize with the 2. I just need to rationalize with the root 2. So that's the answer. So that's how we incorporate the special angles into the addition formula. So like I mentioned, you also got to be doing the triangle method. So that's where all your ASTC will come in. So for this question, we are given a sine A and a tangent B. And we are told that both are in the same quadrant. So you got to think carefully about the quadrant first. Sine A is negative. So that means it could be third or the fourth quadrant. Tangent is positive. It could be the first and third quadrant. So you got to take the common quadrant. So A and B are in the third quadrant. So you got to conclude the quadrant very carefully. Okay, and before you answer what is cosine A minus B, what is tangent A plus B, do out your triangle first. Do out your triangle. Do out your triangle in the third quadrant. So it will be 12 and 13. Do your Pythagoras. So in this case, your Pythagoras will give you a 5. Okay, draw them separately. So do not attempt to draw them in the same diagram. It's going to get very confusing. So this is 3 over 1. you do your Pythagoras, you'll get a root 10. So usually a lot of students, even if they draw out, they will just leave it in this way and they will continue to answer the question. So it's not advisable that you continue straight. You are advised to write out the ratio. So write out the ratio to make sure that you incorporate your ASTC. So third quadrant, only tangent positive. So tangent, that should be O over A, 12 over 5. Cosine will be negative. So that will be negative A over H. Tangent, sine is already given. So do the same thing for sine B, cosine B, and tangent B. So get all the basic ratio ready. So cosine will be negative because it's third quadrant. So this will be minus 1 over root 10. Okay, sine will be minus 3 over root 10. So all these are the part that earns you method mark. So after you have all this, then you start to answer the question. Okay, write out the formula first. This one will be cos, cos, sin, sin. So write out the formula, put in the fraction. So that's why it's easier if you have gotten ready all the fraction, then you just put in. Okay, and then you simplify properly. Okay, so you simplify with your rationalization. Okay, so do your own rationalization. So the same thing happened for tangent A plus B. So write out the formula first. Do not skip the part on writing out formula. So write out before you put in the fraction. So in this case, this is quite easy. It's just punching calculator. There are no certs involved. So if there are no certs involved, it's actually quite easy. You just need to punch calculator to get a value. If there are certs involved, then you might need to do your rationalization. Okay, so far you've already seen how we incorporate special angles and we also incorporate our triangle method. So in the equation portion, we also learned about finding basic angle, doing our ASTC. So that will be applicable in this question here. So if you take a look at this question, the angles are both different. One is dealing with sine x, one is dealing with x plus 30. So that is a hint that you should be using your cosine A plus B. Okay, so you got to apply your cosine A plus B. So cos, cos minus sine, sine. And this also lead you for the special angle. 30 is a special angle. So this part, you will get root 3 over 2. This will be a half. So if you still remember the part about trigo equation, you got to work until you reduce to single trigo, then you can do your basic angle. So currently there's a cosine, there is a sine. So that is a hint that you got to condense these two functions. You got to condense these two into a single function. So hopefully you can think about which formula can condense these two. So the formula that can combine sine and cosine is actually tangent. So this is one of the basic formula. And this basic formula is not going to be given in your exam. So sometimes some people will tend to forget it. Okay. So currently, if you look, I already have cosine x on one side, sine x on one side. So to make things easier, okay, I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides first. Okay, then I'm going to divide over. So the reason why I would like to divide over is to create the function tangent. So this is the tangent function. So I got to work until I got a single trigo function. Then I'm going to do my basic angle and my ASTC. So here, this is 19.1. Okay, so tangent positive, it should be in the first and the third quadrant. So that's my two answers. So degree is always 1 dp. So this is where you comprise of solving trigo equation using addition formula, and also triangle method using addition formula, also special angles using addition formula. So this will be an idea how you're going to use your addition formula.